Okay, you ready to get started?
All right, let's get started.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fourth Generation Sports Podcast. I'm your host, German. I'm joined here with my co-host, Andrew.
What's up?
And today we're going to go over a few things. We're going to go pretty NFL heavy today. We're going to go over Week 17 recap. We're going to look at the NFL playoff picture for both NFC and AFC. We're going to talk about the absolute clown show that was Antonio Brown. Jay's going to go ahead and take that one over. And then we're going to talk about free agents who we think are going to be on the move later on this year. And we're going to go ahead. We're just going to go over our Week 17 picks. Okay?
Week 18. Yes.
Or Week 18 picks, yeah. Already messing up. All right. So Week 17 recap. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go over the scores. We had the Bills beating the Falcons 29-15. No big news there other than you were disappointed by the Bills' performance.
Yes and no. I mean, they ended up pulling out and doing just fine. It was snowing. It was colder than shit. But they kept the Falcons in the game. At one point, they were losing 15-14.
Atlanta, a dome team in the South, to go
up. Into the snow and to compete. Yeah, it's kind of impressive by Atlanta. But, I mean, I kind of feel like the Bills have underperformed this year. That's been a common theme with them. I mean, they're 9-7?
Yeah, sitting at 9-7.
Yeah, so it's nothing. I'm not too shocked by it. I think the season in general has been a little bit disappointing for me.
Or they're 10-6.
10-6. Still, I think the season's been a little bit disappointing. I mean, Josh Allen was like the MVP candidate for the first 6 months.
He started off that way.
Yeah. So to see them at 10-6, and the fact that they still haven't even locked in
kind of
the NFC or the AFC East yet, a little disappointing.
Kind of disappointing.
But that's all we really need to talk about that.
Yeah. No big news. The Bears beating up the Giants 29-3. The Bengals beating the Chiefs 34-31.
That's huge.
That was a huge win for them.
So many ways. First off, it just knocks the Chiefs out of the one spot, just like that.
Yeah.
They can still get it with big Week 18.
But with Tennessee winning their game, they jumped that.
It's over. So that's huge. And then, I mean, it proves a lot that the Bengals aren't no joke with a sophomore quarterback, a second-year quarterback, and a rookie number one receiver. They're no joke. I mean, Mixon's over 1,000 yards. Defense is doing all right. But, I mean, to host the Chiefs and have a little game-winning field goal like that, that's pretty impressive.
And then, Jamar Chase during that game breaks the single-season rookie record for the most receiving yards.
He had like 255 or something like that?
266 on 11 receptions.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so that best game of his career so far with the Bengals. And then you kind of look back at the draft. You remember back in the draft when everybody was kind of just dogging the Bengals for not taking on offensive linemen?
Yeah.
And then they took him for their first-round pick. And now,
because it was a huge deal because Burrow tears his ACL. It's like, look, get the man more protection and he actually be as good as he was in college. And he's like, no, man, just throw it down there. Jamar's down there somewhere.
That's what you would have thought. Every other coach probably would have made that pick, an offensive lineman. But they went ahead, took Jamar Chase, the guy that he was pretty familiar with, his old teammate over at LSU, and it paid off big time. Next game, we had Tennessee just fucking bullying the Dolphins.
Oh, that's extremely disappointing by the Dolphins. They won 7 straight going to that game, and then just laid over.
Just fell off. Now, every time Tua has a performance like that, then the rumors start flying around. And then
but 2 weeks ago, he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Exactly. So poor Tua, man. I don't think he's never gonna be secure there in Miami.
I don't think so. But I mean, I never thought he was that good when the whole tank for Tua thing was going on a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. I thought he'd be a good quarterback, but not like lead us to a Super Bowl quarterback. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Next game, the freaking Raiders going over to Indianapolis and beating the Colts. Huge. Man, the Colts would have locked it in. They would have locked in their playoff berth with that win.
I think both teams are kind of like a coin flip. You can't tell if they're good or they're bad. And I thought I was giving the advantage to the Colts. They're at home, slightly better team. But then again, they got Carson Wentz at quarterback. And I think he's kind of a joke quarterback.
And that's the thing, dude. Carson Wentz, right? former MVP candidate.
Yep.
Tears his ACL.
Yep. Super Bowl champion.
Big Dick Nick leads them to the Super Bowl. And then he comes back the next year. I think the year after that, they went to the playoffs. They got knocked out was Seattle?
Yeah. And
then Carson Wentz got hurt that game too.
Dude, his career went downhill in Philly. I mean, they were calling for his head eventually at some point because those Philly fans are crazy.
Is it safe to say and just consider him as a one season wonder? And he just had that one good year.
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't invest too much into him.
Uh-huh.
I've seen a lot of his games since he plays in the NFC East. I'm a big Cowboys fan.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think he was that good. He's a decent quarterback. I mean, he'll get you to right around 500, a little bit better than 500, and I think that's right around where his career winnings is at.
Yeah.
But again, he's not that top tier quarterback. But not everyone can have a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Well, even reuniting him with Frank Wright, that still just didn't work out.
No, and you know what? I mean, if it wasn't for his running back for running for over 2,000 yards, how good would the Colts really be?
That's another story. Jonathan Taylor, he first player at his age, or the youngest player to go over 2,000 yards, scrimmage yards. So that's passing and rushing, 20 plus touchdowns, and he's only 22.
That's good.
Sky's the limit. MVP.
Kid's good.
MVP.
No, Aaron Rodgers.
and that's the thing. It's a quarterback heavy league. A running back's never going to win MVP, no matter how good.
If they were better than 9-7, I think he'd be a better candidate. But with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's a different story. But I mean, we'll talk about it later. But Aaron Rodgers, not knowing if he's even going to play in Green Bay, didn't want to play for Green Bay, and then he's fucking 13-3.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Your boys' team, man, the Jaguars, just bending over and letting the Pats have at them.
What was the 50 to 3? 10?
50 to 10,
oh,
dude.
God.
The Jaguars are worse off without Urban Meyer, dude. Urban Meyer was the guy that was holding it all together over there in Jacksonville.
I think Urban Meyer, I think he knew what he was doing coaching-wise. It was all the extra stuff. He had no clue what was going on or how to handle it. But, oh, man, poor Jags.
They beat the Bills with Urban Meyer. And the Jaguars just that bad.
And they beat the Dolphins.
They did beat the Dolphins. So
imagine being those two teams that lost to the Dolphins. Or lost to the Jags.
Lost to the Jaguars.
Brutal.
Jesus.
Dolphins, you'd still be in the playoff hunt if you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can you imagine that? The Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be the reason why you guys don't make playoffs.
That's not the reason. Let's be real. Yeah, the Bucs beating the Jets and making a comeback to beat them 28-24.
I was rooting hard for the Jets, man. I just like to see Tom Brady lose.
It would have been nice. Yeah, watching Tom Brady lose to the Jets. He's been manhandling him his entire career.
But we'll talk.
And then
we'll talk a little bit more. But
I
think Tom Brady was fueled in that comeback. I mean, he got an extra incentive to win that game.
And that's another thing is that Tom Brady had an awesome performance against the Jets, especially in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But that gets overshadowed over what we're going to talk about later. We had the Eagles beating the football team. I mean, the Eagles are kind of just starting to sneak their way into the postseason.
They're starting to get hot.
I mean, they're
starting to get hot, as much as I hate to say it.
They started off, I mean, everybody overlooked them because of who they have at quarterback and, what kind of organization they were a year ago. But they're kind of just starting to creep up on everybody. They're sitting at 9-7 right now and knocking on the door of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. The Rams coming up big against the Ravens, 20-19.
Huge clutch ending. OBJ with some quality catches there at the end. I'm a little nervous about their whole Matthew Stafford. He's kind of let me down the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know what
he's had a great year so far. Kind of a little shaky his last couple of games, but I mean, for them to win in Baltimore and to keep that 2 seed alive is pretty impressive.
I mean that's big. That way, I mean, you can have the best that they're playing for right now is home field advantage. I don't think they're going to get that number 1 seed against.
No, it's
Green
already
Bay.
locked in.
And then they have the Niners next week, so we'll see how it goes.
At home, right?
Yeah, exactly. In LA, we'll see how it goes with Matthew
That's a big
Stafford,
game.
and hopefully he'll be back healthy and ready to go. We having the Chargers just kind of beating up on the Broncos. Nothing really big to report there. The Cardinals, though, bouncing back against your team, against them boys. What you watched the whole game, right? That
Of
one you
course.
watched the whole game.
Yeah, of course.
What did you see? Dak kind of struggled there in the first half.
Dak's been slumping, and he's been slumping big time, really, since he strained his calf. I mean, he started off so hot this season. That calf injury has set him back. I don't know if he's kind of... It's the same leg that he broke, where he broke his ankle, his high ankle.
That's right, yeah.
Compound fracture. So I don't know if that's really messing with him a little bit. Yeah. It's near the same injury or what. But he has not looked good since before that calf injury. And thank God we've had the best defense, in my opinion, in the NFL since then. And that's really kept us in it. But all around, it was pretty shitty. I mean, you can't put it all on Dak. I mean, you really could, but I don't think you watched the game, but so many drop passes, so many times people hitting the hands. I mean, Zeke dropped a ball, Cooper dropped a ball, Dalton Schultz dropped a ball. But I mean, then again, Dak was airmailing a couple throws, underthrows. And then he fumbled in a huge spot.
That's right. Yeah. I did see that.
But give props to Kyler Murray. I mean, Kyler Murray kind of made it look easy against a defense that's been rolling really, really well. So.
And he started. He played a lot better last night than he has in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he is from the area. I think he's like 50 miles away is his hometown. Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, he's got something to play for every time he goes to Texas. 8-0 or 9-0 or some shit like that when he plays at AT&T. So it was a good setup for him, and he exploited the Cowboys, that's for sure. And the Cardinals defense really exploited that Cowboys off. The Cardinals defense really exploited the fact that the Cowboys offense still has a lot of things to figure out. No,
they have a lot of stuff to figure out. They really couldn't get the running game going. They couldn't get the ball out to their weapon to the weapons that they have on the outside. I did see Michael Gallup go down though. Do you have any update on that?
Yeah. So torn ACL, done for the year, and
he sacrificed his ACL for a touchdown.
Yeah, and you know what? He tore his ACL
while going
up for the catch. He tore his ACL, catches it, makes the move towards the pylon, gets the touchdown, then tears his ACL.
It really sucks for him because it's a contract year for him.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I felt like he was really underutilized there in Dallas. I feel like he could have been used.
I hate to say it, but I don't think Dallas can. I don't think that they'll end up signing him back. He missed a lot of time this season with injury. He too had a calf strain, and that held him out a lot longer than Dak did.
Yeah.
Then this torn ACL is really gonna. It's not good for him in negotiations, that's for sure. But he's still a quality receiver. He's tall. That's really nice, and he can get up there. He's a big target in the red zone.
He's a big target. He's one of those old school big guys that you just get him outside on one-on-one matchups. And he does do some damage.
He's really
that's how he scored that touchdown with the one-on-one matchup.
Yeah. Last couple of years, he's been the go route guy. Just throw it down the sideline, and he'll get the 50-50 ball for you.
Yeah. But big time player, big time weapon.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for us in the playoffs. So that's gonna suck.
Yeah, I mean, well, best for him. I hope he gets better because I like him as a player. The Saints, they beat the Panthers. The Saints, they still have a chance.
A narrow victory too, right?
Yeah,
I was watching that game closely.
18-10, and so we'll see. We'll see what the Saints are able to do there with their third string quarterback or fourth string quarterback. The Seahawks beating up on the Lions 51-29. I was expecting
big win for Seattle.
I was expecting
super irrelevant.
I was expecting the Lions to perform, and then Russell Wilson just went out and did Russell Wilson things. Especially they've been in the headlines lately with the future of their franchise with the quarterback and their coach looking like they're on their way out. So we'll see what goes on with Seattle. The Niners escape with the win against the Texans, 23-7. Trey Lance with the second career start gets his first win. He played okay.
I looked at halftime and I was like, "Wow, this is kind of disappointing." And then I looked at the end of the game and I was like, "Wow, that's kind of impressive."
And then kind of just went off. I saw a stat earlier where they compared his deep passes to Garoppolo's, and the difference is it's like a huge difference with the amount of time that the ball's in the air that Trey Lance is in. He's going to take shots, and that's what the Niners were missing was that deep threat. I mean, they got guys who can go out and go get it. They got Debo, Brandon Ayuk,
run down there,
Kittle underneath. So they have guys who are home run hitters. They were just having trouble getting him the ball.
Yeah.
And then with Trey Lance, with the arm that he has, the athleticism, there was one play, I think they were in their own end zone, where he booted out left, comes back to the right, and hits Brandon Ayuk for a first down. And it was like plays like that, the Prescott type plays, the Mahomes type plays. Those were the plays that the Niners were missing, and that's why they went out and got him. So Trey Lance, he's still really raw. I don't think he's going to be the guy to pull them or to lead them in the playoffs, because word on the street is that Jimmy might need surgery on his thumb, because it's a torn ligament. It's the same injury that Drew Brees had last year when he had to get out, have surgery. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy if he's able to play. I know he wants to play. Everybody kind of talks shit on the guy because he doesn't like playing through injuries or whatever, but I think he does. I think he's just a fragile guy. It's just the injuries fucking suck. It's part of the game. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Trey Lance is able to perform. They got the Rams next week in LA. They're pretty much they're in a must-win situation. That's essentially a playoff game
with the
for
Saints
them.
playing the Falcons. Yeah. It really is. They got to win.
They have to win. And then, the Rams, with the way, they're locked in for the playoffs, so who knows?
Maybe they want that 2 seed.
The Rams are going to want the 2 seed, so they're not going to roll over. We'll see what Stafford's situation is next week, but the Niners had already beat the Rams once earlier this year, so we'll see what happens. And then at the very end, we had the Packers beating the Vikings 37-10.
Really no surprise there at all.
No surprise there.
I thought maybe with a slight chance before Kirk Cousins got COVID, maybe. But then you got COVID, and I thought, well, that shit's out the window.
Even with Cousins, I don't think they win. Like
Maybe,
37-10. It's not like Kirk Cousins over there manning up against Devontae Adams. Like they can't cover the fucking guy.
Rooting hard for the Vikings because at the time the Cowboys were still in it for the 1 seed. I thought maybe Cowboys beat the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins can somehow go to Green Bay and win. Cowboys get the 1 seed. But then the week just went downhill. Kirk Cousins gets COVID. That goes out the window. And that's another thing.
Lose. That's another thing I wanted to ask you with the season coming to an end. It's essentially playoff football starting next week, right?
Right.
For some teams.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think they potentially might change some of those COVID protocols, like with the CDC coming out and changing their perspective on when guys get COVID, instead of having the 10-day lockdown, they got to do the 5-day isolation?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I hope so.
Because the Eagles had 12 players test positive as today, and they're in a must-win situation too. Like if they win next week, they're into the playoff. They essentially are in the playoffs. They're going to need some help with from the Rams, but if they win, they're in essentially. But they have 12 guys out with COVID who can possibly be cleared by Saturday.
Yeah. So I hope so. I think I'm no doctor, no scientist, but I hope that we can get these players back onto the field as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. I mean, a ton of teams have been affected by it. I mean, the Cowboys were affected by it. We had 3 linebackers this last game on the roster, and only 2 played.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, we could have used some extra hands out there.
But
I mean, that's every team in the NFL right now. I mean, every team needs someone that's on the COVID list, and they can't play. So with this going into the playoffs, I don't know. I'm hoping some players can get back a lot sooner than expected, but you know what? It's part of the world we live in right now.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the Week 16 recap. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the playoff picture. We'll start with the AFC first. We're looking at number 1 seed. We have Tennessee. Number 2, the Chiefs. 3, the Bengals. 4, the Bills. 5, the Patriots. 6, the Colts, and 7, the Chargers. Teams that are still in the AFC are the Raiders. They're sitting at 9-7. The Steelers still have a chance.
It all depends on this
depending
game
on the game that's going
They
on
gotta win
tonight
both
that we
games.
have playing on the TV there. They're sitting at 7-7-1, and that game against Detroit really just kind of came back and kind of just bit them in the ass, right?
Yeah.
Because they're sitting at that one tie. Yeah, and then the Ravens 8-8.
I think they're
Huge
out.
disappointment for me.
They're like a 5% chance.
It looks like they're out. I really thought Lamar Jackson was really going to put things together, especially when they won early on against the Chiefs. You remember that game?
Yeah,
Where
and they went toe to toe, and I was very impressed in that game.
Toe to toe with them.
But
Lamar was looking like an MVP again that game. That game also, remember that was the game that Jackson Mahomes spilled water on those Baltimore fans.
We're done. I'm not talking about
Mahomes.
Jackson Mahomes anymore. You got my 10-minute rant last week,
Right.
2 weeks ago. We're done with that. But I mean, the Ravens.
So
They need the Colts, Browns, Chargers, and Dolphins all to lose on top of them winning next week just to make it. And I don't think that's happening.
So they need some help, big time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but what the Colts got the Jags.
What other possibilities are there? Because
really in the AFC, that's it. I mean, you can dive down into the Bengals still have a shot at the 1 seed.
they do, yeah.
Let's see here.
Who's Tennessee got next week?
The Tennessee has the Titans. I think Tennessee locks up the 1 seed.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason they lose to the Texans, don't even pack your bags for the playoffs.
Really?
Like, come on.
That's
you can't.
true.
You should not
At
be
that
losing to
point,
the
yeah.
Texans.
The Texans with the worst tanking job of all time.
Don't know how to tank. But I mean, what didn't the Jags do that shit a couple years ago too, or last year? They couldn't. They don't know how to tank.
The Jets.
Yes, the
Jets
Jets
last year.
The
Yeah.
Jets. They missed
Because
out.
remember, it was almost official that they were going to have the first overall pick and that they were the ones that were going to have Trevor Lawrence,
Then they lose, and now they got what's his face?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
scrub.
Let's look at the NFC. NFC. So we have the Packers at number 1. They're at 13-3. The Rams number 2 at 12-4. The Bucks sitting at 12-4 at number 3. The Cowboys 11-5, sitting at number 4. The Cardinals at 11-5. They're in 5th. And the 49ers and the Eagles 6-7, with both records at 9-7.
Yeah.
And then
So the Eagles are in. They're locked in, even though that they're the 7 seed. It's kind of weird. They're locked in,
right?
Because of strength of schedule and NFC conference games.
Yeah.
The Niners aren't locked in at the 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles can bump to 6, and the Saints bump to 7 if the Niners lose and the Saints win. And that's a huge game for the Niners because they're at the Rams, who are rolling right now. Saints have Atlanta. They should be able to beat Atlanta. But I mean that's a huge one.
But with this year, you never know.
You never know.
With the way the games have been churning out, we've had upsets, we've had no surprising wins, but you never know.
I think that's really in the NFC in Week 18. That's really the only thing that's going to be interesting. That Saints and Falcons game and the Niners and Rams. Everything else is fairly straightforward. I don't see any of those other teams losing. I think all the seeds are basically locked in.
It's going to be interesting because the Saints and the Falcons, you never know. And then with the Niners and the Rams, the Niners have already beat them earlier this year, and the Niners have had the Rams number since Kyle Shanahan and McVay have been there.
Yeah, you could, if the Cardinals beat the Seahawks, the Rams lose to the Niners. The Rams are now a wild card team.
Yeah,
and the Cardinals win the division. So that's, it's toss up there. I'm really interested in the Chargers-Raiders game Sunday night. That's going to be...
Who do they got?
Chargers and Raiders.
Oh, Chargers and Raiders. That's essentially a playoff game too.
It's a win and in.
Yeah.
It's a win and in for both teams. Although the Raiders need a little bit more help. They need a Colts loss or a Steelers loss in Week 18. If even with them beating the Chargers. Chargers just got to win and they're in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find myself rooting for the Raiders a lot more now.
Really?
Only because Derek Carr. I'm very loyal to Fresno State players.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of even mentioning his
hater.
name. Yeah.
You're a Niner fan and a Fresno State hater.
Or I'm not a Fresno State hater.
You are.
I can't stand the Raiders. I can put up the Cowboys a little bit more. I just can't stand the Raiders. The Cowboys have been okay to me.
You know, I get it. I mean, they're both Bay Area teams for the longest time.
Yeah.
Can't catch me rooting for the Eagles or the football team or the Giants. No.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're coming from, but it's going to be an interesting week. Week 18.
Week 18.
That's
man.
for sure.
First,
I would love to see the Bengals take that 1 seed. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
They need a lot of help. Titans, Chiefs, Patriots, and Bills. All need to lose. Yeah.
But it's a long shot, but we'll see. Tennessee's looking scary, man. The way they beat up on the Dolphins. They won against the Niners the week before. They didn't really play all that great.
They didn't play great. I mean, they got A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown went off and had the best game of his career, but against a really weak secondary that the Niners have.
I think that's a huge fault for the Niners.
Their secondary is really weak secondary. None of their DBs can cover one-on-one with any receiver. I mean, even the week before, they were giving up plays to Kyle Pitts from Atlanta, and then it was embarrassing. Like, it's been all year the same thing. The only player that they've been able to really lock down was Odell for the Rams. That's been it. And then even Cooper Kupp scored that game too. Mm-hmm. So
Cooper Kupp scoring against everyone.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see how that goes with Tennessee. Derrick Henry might be back. It's looking
really. I thought he was done for the year.
No, he might be back. He might actually be able to be healthy enough and make a run in the playoffs. So if they get him back with the way that AJ Brown is playing right now, watch out, dude.
Yeah, because that would mean that assuming that they win this game this week, they won't have a game for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's good for Derrick Henry, assuming that he can make it back.
If he can make it back, and it's looking that way, you know. So no wear and tear of the season. So he'll be healthy and he'll be fresh. They'll get their
legit. They're a legit 1 seed if they can get Derrick Henry back. Only if he can compete to Derrick Henry level.
Yeah, because he's not going to come back fully fit and fully informed. Yeah, he's probably going to be out of shape. So he'll probably be on a pitch count. Say if they make it past the first round of playoffs, if they're able to make a little run and get Derrick Henry back in form by the time they get to the divisional round.
For sure.
We'll see. You never know. So yeah, that's it with the playoff picture. It's going to be a very interesting first ever Week 18 next week. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about your boy, AB.
Why is it always the people we're going to talk shit on? Maybe not talk shit on, but we're going to go in at my boy. Jackson Mahomes, my boy. Jags, my team.
Because the way
Antonio Brown, my boy.
The way you do it is hilarious. The way you go in on these people, I love your little rants. But let's go ahead. Let's clue us in. What happened? What happened against the Jets?
So first, we'll talk about what happened. Just out of nowhere, you can look on the sidelines. There's a ton of video going on out there that Antonio Brown and Mike Evans are kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, you just see Antonio Brown take off his pads, tosses his pads, immediately takes off his shirt for whatever reason. Apparently, you can't wear your shirt when you're getting pissed off. Tosses that shit out into the stands. Throws the gloves. One glove didn't even make it to the stands. Kind of embarrassing. And then runs off the field. Not in a quality way either. I mean, he ran through
up the crowd.
Yeah, he ran through the end zone. The game's still going on. Game doesn't stop. Runs through the end zone. Throws up a peace sign, a little number 1 on his way out. Watching that, I'm like, what the hell is going on in this guy's head?
Yeah.
What is he doing? And then it started to kind of surface for me a couple of different things. One, I found out that they're talking about this whole thing that they're trying to prevent him from getting this incentive. That's right. What the first thing I saw last night was. Bruce Arians and the Bucs are trying to prevent him from getting an incentive.
I saw that getting thrown around, but I get from what the story that Bruce Arians has been telling is that they were trying to get him into the game.
And so that's what I saw this morning. I saw that Bruce Arians is throwing out there, I'm trying to get him into the game, and he's saying no because he's got an ankle injury. And it's true. He had an ankle injury while he had this whole fake COVID card going on, which I'll dive into that a little bit too. And I thought, okay, he's got an ankle injury, not wanting to play. Bruce Arians flat out says, well, if you're not going to play, you're done. Get out of here. And so that's what he did. He took off and he left.
And he's essentially unemployed now. Right?
Yeah. But I'm not buying that story. I'm not buying the ankle injury and he didn't want to get in and Bruce Arians tell him to get in there. I don't believe that. And I'll tell you why. Without getting too deep into the whole Antonio Brown saga, just his time as with the Bucks. So really what had kicked off this whole season is in the off season, he hires a personal chef, and this personal chef is in LA, and he had a catering event for Antonio Brown. He likes his stuff. He likes his food. They vibed a little bit, flew him out to Tampa, spent some time living with Antonio Brown before he can get his own spot. And basically the story kind of came out that they're actually decent. He wasn't just his chef. He was kind of a friend too. And then at some point over the summer, I think it was around July, when the NFL was like, hey, everyone's going to get vaccinated. Antonio Brown's girlfriend sends some text messages to the chef and is like, can you get us a card? The Johnson & Johnson card. AB wants it. And he just says, I'll see what I can do. Well, I don't think he actually gets him the card. But Antonio Brown tells him that, hey, I got one. Don't worry about it. Be cool. So they're kind of going on their way. And then this chef, Steve Ruiz, I think is his name. Yeah. Just before the season starts, tells AB, you owe me 10 grand. And AB's like, the fuck you talking about? I owe you 10 grand. And this actually all takes place of the Thursday night opening game of the season.
So he essentially was like blackmailing him.
Yeah. So he tells Antonio Brown, you owe me 10 grand. Antonio Brown says, hit the road, Jack. Like, we're done. Really? Then AB goes off and he has a quality game, like 130 yards against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I remember.
And he sends some text messages that I tried reading, and it made no sense to me. The like dude is so illiterate.
He's I was so confused. Do you remember those old jokes of Floyd Mayweather? He can't read or write?
Man, it's along the same lines. And so I gave up trying to read those. But anyway, that's where they split ways.
I remember those.
That's where they split ways. And it later comes out that, you know what, this chef, he wants his money. Yeah. And he plans to sue Antonio Brown, but realizes, you know what, it's going to cost me more than 10 grand to get the money that I need from Antonio Brown. And so he actually calls a publicist in LA and kind of gives a publicist the story like, hey, guess what? AB's got a fake vaccination card. And so the publicist reaches out to the Bucks, their team doctor, I think it was, and starts telling them the story.
Really?
And the doctor's like, you know what? We're not having any of this. A few weeks later go by, and Antonio Brown's lawyer calls and is like, how much?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So all that adds up.
Wow.
And that leads me to believe that the Bucks have been trying to cover everything up. In October of 2020, Antonio Brown destroys a security guard shack with his bicycle. This is what, right when he's getting ready.
2020. That's
right when he's getting ready to go to the Bucks. Right around the time. Yeah. Okay. And the president of the HOA of his little community, decides not to press charges because, quote, she was afraid that he might retaliate against her employees. That is not the sign of a mentally stable person.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the Bucks were trying to prevent Antonio Brown from getting this incentive. I think this was their way of punishing him some more for all the bullshit that they put up with. That's my opinion. I do kind of believe this whole ankle injury, but look, what player that is down in a must-win game all of a sudden has a sore ankle?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way he was playing in week 16.
Yeah,
100 yards.
Well, he was playing fine, and I guess even during warm-ups, I guess they said that he looked fine.
Yeah, and when he jogged out the field, throwing up that shit to the fans, he looked fine to me.
Yeah.
So I don't I don't necessarily believe that Bruce Arians was trying to get Antonio Brown into the field onto the field. I don't really believe that his sore ankle is the reason why he didn't go back in. I do believe that there's a lot of bullshit that the Bucs are covering up, that Bruce Arians is covering up, just because, you know what, that sounds a lot better than, you're right. We did not want Antonio Brown to get those yards. Yeah. We don't want to give him an extra million for all the bullshit we've put up with. So that's just my opinion. I think he's a head case. He's got some shit going on with him.
I can see where you're coming from, where that the Bucs were kind of fed up with him and like trying to get him out the door or whatever, so that he doesn't get the incentives. I look at it more. Let's for a minute, let's put football aside. As like you said, the guy is fucked up. Like I think he's like mentally ill.
Oh yeah.
Not well. I mean, I don't know about mentally ill. Maybe CTE, dude. Maybe like the way he's acting, like super irrational.
But
he's not using his frontal lobe like most adults would. Like he doesn't seem like an adult to me. Like he acts. He kind of. The way he acts out, it's almost like he's throwing a tantrum like a child would, right?
He went under psych evaluation in 2019. I don't know if you remember that.
No. Oh, yeah, I think so.
That's when he was caught getting a little handsy with his trainer. Do you remember that?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so the NFL decided to send him through some psych evaluations, and apparently they cleared him because he's still playing.
Make sure that.
Yeah.
I mean... to me, it looks like someone like not a rational human being would do, like the stuff that he's done. And I guess even going back to yesterday, I guess he tried to Uber out of the stadium.
Oh, he did Uber.
I guess wasn't I guess a cop helped him out, right?
I'm not too sure, but I just remember his Uber driver posted a TikTok.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It wasn't much. I'm sure you can find that shit on YouTube.
Let's see.
But yeah, it was just him just throwing it up there, Antonio Brown or some shit, my boy. And yeah, that video. Well, that's not the full video.
Well, that's not going to be the full video. Yeah, that's other people's reaction. Maybe it's this one. We'll see. Let me take a look at it. I mean, it could also be like some random guy, like some random Uber that he used to have before. Maybe just post it up. Not necessarily saying that this was on Sunday.
Oh no, it's definitely from Sunday. I mean, he's wearing the same outfit.
Oh, he's wearing his. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that is definitely right after.
You think that's from Sunday?
Oh, look at the same outfit right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the picture of him like waiting out by the side, out by the gate, right? Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He tried to Uber out.
There's some shit going on with him.
Oh man.
You know, and
insane.
I hope he figures it out, but I can't see anyone else signing Antonio Brown.
Right? Yeah. What if he signs in Green Bay? What if Rodgers is just like, hey, dude, come over here. We'll treat you right.
I mean, can he play? Can he play somewhere right now? Like next week, could he suit up for someone?
I don't think about. I gotta look it up. I gotta see what that situation is. But I'm just saying, like, what if? What if that's a possibility?
Assuming that he was sane and just running routes,
and it just puts everything aside.
Scary as fuck. I mean, you have Devontae Adams on one side of the field, you have Antonio Brown on the other side of the field.
Yeah, that'll be scary.
That'd be scary.
And to actually make the run, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go into Green Bay.
It didn't cross my mind. I initially thought Michael Gallup torn ACL. Jerry Jones would do something stupid like sign Antonio Brown
to the Cowboys.
But honestly, I hope not. Cowboys don't need any more drama than what we got already. We can't even fucking win a game over a team over 500. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Anything else on Antonio Brown, or are you about ready to wrap that part of it up?
No, I think that was it. He was just 8 receptions and 55 yards short of an extra $1 million, which is 33% of his contract.
That's right. I mean, and then he could have easily gotten that with the rest of the game there, and then combined with next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't believe the ankle. I mean, last week 10 receptions, 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 50 yards, I think, already this week.
Yeah.
Before he stormed off. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I really don't believe we tried getting him back in, but he had a little boo boo. I don't believe that one bit.
I mean, I believe it. I take the story of the Bucks definitely because of, I mean, it's AB. You know, the guy's a nutcase.
Yeah,
He's a wild card. I feel like he can pop at any moment, and I feel like this was a long time coming. You know what I mean? Like, because he had situations last year where he popped off, or the year before, and then we were almost kind of. It's almost like everybody was just kind of waiting, right? Because because he was out with injury earlier this year. He was out with the COVID stuff. And then we were kind of just waiting to see, like, okay, is he going to be back in the headlines again? And then all of a sudden, just boom, just out of nowhere. Yeah. You know? I don't know. Maybe he just kind of, he really craves attention.
Oh, that's for sure.
Maybe.
That's for sure.
Maybe, and he's just looking for different ways just to get that clout, you know?
So he's the Jake Paul of the NFL. That's
the Jake Paul of the NFL, dude. Just any fucking clout. Get him in the ring with Jake Paul.
Okay,
right
so
now.
I know you don't follow anything golf, but Brooks Koepka. I don't know if that name sounds familiar to you at all. But he's a professional golfer, and he kind of is involved in some drama in the golf world.
Yeah.
But he went on Twitter right away and was like, "I guarantee you, Antonio Brown is in the ring with one of the Paul brothers before the end of this year." And I was like, you know what? That's the guy we need.
When did he tweet that? This weekend?
Immediately, like after the game.
When that happened.
Okay. Oh yeah, he was like Antonio Brown like, in the ring.
If he would have tweeted that early on this year, I'd been like, oh fuck, dude. Notre Dame is. But dude, if we were to get that, dude, sign me up. I'll fucking pay Showtime whatever they fucking want.
Yeah, I want to see someone as psychotic as Antonio Brown fight someone fake as Jake Paul.
Oh fuck yeah!
All of a sudden, I'd be a huge Antonio Brown fan.
Let's not go that far. Okay, let's wrap that up. Antonio Brown. Let's go ahead. Let's start taking a look at free agents. Who do you got? Who do you got on your list of notable free agents?
Okay, the most notable free agent for me, Davante Adams.
Davante Adams.
By far, hands down.
Interesting.
And I will tell you why he's the most notable over Aaron Rodgers is because no one knows what the hell Aaron Rodgers is going to do after this season. He didn't even want to play this year for Green Bay. He wanted out, and now he's gonna, I think, win the MVP.
Well, last week he never ruled out retirement.
That's huge, and I think that's why Davante Adams leaves. Because look,
I can see that.
Look, after Davante Adams, the next receiver is Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard has right around 1,000 yards less than Davante Adams.
Yeah.
He has only 35 receptions to Davante Adams' 117. Mm-hmm. If there's no Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, who is going to do that? Like, who's going to help Davante Adams? Like, there's not too many free agents looking like, hey, I want to go to Green Bay.
Okay. So, we've gotten to Davante Adams, but you can't talk about Davante without talking about Aaron first and addressing that issue. It's still up in the air whether he's going to stay or retire or go play somewhere else.
I think he goes somewhere else.
I think so too. And I honestly, we were talking about it earlier. I honestly think he's going to go to Denver. Honestly,
tell me why you think he's going to Denver.
I honestly think because it's a copycat league. Everybody after Tom won that Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, that's what everybody's going to fucking try to do now. It's the NFL quarterbacks. It's going to be like the NBA, where now they're going to
build super teams.
Yeah,
chase the ring, not earn it.
Chase the ring. Yeah,
chase the ring and not earn it.
And I honestly think that's going to be better for the NFL, watching these different quarterbacks play for different teams. Because I mean, essentially, a team is only good whether or not they have a quarterback, right? You know, we'll look at all the past teams have been performing at the top level. They've all had quarterbacks, and all the teams that have been in the bottom part of the league don't have an answer at quarterback.
Right.
And so if that happens, I mean that's honestly good for the NFL because you see these players chasing the ring, going to play where they're going to have good quarterbacks, and maybe that might help the salary cap issue too. Like you see a good quarterback, they have a great year, they won a Super Bowl, whatever, and then they get paid, and then that team sucks.
Right.
because they can't get around the salary cap.
Yep, took up all the money.
Exactly, and maybe that'll help when you're only making 1 or 2 or 3 year deals, right? Versus fucking Mahomes 12-year deal for $500 million. And then the Chiefs will. I mean, they'll probably figure it out. Later on, maybe the salary cap will move up. We'll see what happens, but I honestly think that's cool to see if Aaron Rodgers does do that, because with Tom doing what he did, I think that opened up a can of worms for the NFL.
Yeah,
and I think Rodgers and I think Wilson are going to do the same thing. I think they're going to go try to chase a championship, and then they're going to pull guys to them. I mean, because they're at the end of their careers, they're both in their 30s. Rodgers is 36, Wilson's 33. I mean, look what Matt did. He got himself out of Detroit.
Yeah,
and I
10
feel,
times better now.
And we look. I look at all the teams that don't have a quarterback right now. Or don't have an answer at the quarterback position, and kind of just trying to replicate what the Bucs did, where they had the weapons there, they had the team put together, they were just missing the piece at quarterback.
Winston.
Exactly, and I think Denver fits that a little bit more, and then the second team that probably will fit that will probably be the Saints. I feel like they have an awesome team, and the only missing.
Saints did really well for a lot of years with a short quarterback that loved to throw the ball.
Right.
And you can see Russell Wilson there.
Yeah, 100%. And Russell Wilson, he's turning more into a pocket passer. Like, you look at this year, he's not running the ball.
He's older.
He's older. He's not running the ball like he used to. He wants to take the reins of the offense because Pete Carroll's kind of holding him back. So that's another landing spot I can see Russell Wilson at. A lot of people are saying Vegas. But why is he going to go to Vegas? I mean, let's take into consideration that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, right?
I think the Vegas kind of go all in on
Derek
Carr.
On Carr. I think that's their guy. All because of the fan base there. I mean, most of the Raiders fan base is from California, anyways.
Oh, Derek Carr from Bakersfield, Fresno State.
Exactly. That's where I was shocked when the Raiders decided to move to Vegas. I felt like that was a big middle finger to their fan base for leaving California. I mean, I knew they were going to go back to LA.
It was a business move, though. I mean, Oakland didn't do shit for them. It was really just the fans. And you hate to leave Oakland you hate to leave the area because of the fans. But Oakland, it's not a fun stadium. It's not a fun place to be. Everyone wants out of Oakland.
That A stadium, I've been to that stadium before.
The Warriors left Oakland. The Raiders left Oakland, and the A's are trying to leave Oakland.
Right.
But jumping back onto Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, even the Niners left the Bay. They're in
Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers are an hour and 15 minutes away from San Francisco.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
at least they went closer to where their fan base is at, because that Gilroy area, 45 minutes from Santa Clara, even the Central Valley, it's a majority of their fan base. At least they chased the money, but
and they still stayed within the region.
Within the region,
it's still the Bay Area.
So then you're still accommodating to the older fans that do live in San Francisco, but Oakland kind of just went, screw you,
fuck you guys,
or the Raiders went, screw you.
Yeah.
So I don't see Russell Wilson going there. I know a lot of people, that was one of his landing spots. Same thing with Rodgers. I don't see him going there. So I see Rodgers maybe going to Denver. If not Denver, then Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can use him. Say they sign him.
You got Najee Harris.
They have
quality
Najee Harris. That defense. T.J. Watt. They have.
Was he going to put up with Juju and all of his dancing?
Juju and Claypool. Maybe he's the guy.
Chase Claypool pointing at a first down the time is running out.
Exactly.
Oh man, I think
maybe that's what they need. Maybe he's the guy who comes in and has the Tom Brady effect on them.
I can see it, maybe. But what I see more is, I mean, I think you and I have discussed this before, but I see Aaron Rodgers going to San Francisco. And you're a Niner fan, and I'm sure you'd love it, but I don't think that you could see it. But I don't know. I mean, I can't see San Francisco keeping Jimmy G after this year. $25 million that dude makes to be slightly above average.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna have to get rid of him. Trey Lance, I think they got a lot of like
he's got
a lot of
really
potential.
Raw. He's still really raw.
But I mean, Aaron Rodgers comes to San Francisco with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk,
and that defense. With, Boza on the other side.
Deebo Samuel is close to Devontae Adams. I mean, they're very similar. I mean, Devontae Adams
fast, strong,
1,500 yards. Deebo Samuel 1,300 yards.
Yeah.
But what I found, what I dove deep into, is how much Aaron Rodgers loves to check down. Both of his running backs have over 300 yards each receiving. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're not very big into running the ball. Okay, Kyle Juszczyk, 300 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's because Jimmy G loves to check down too, because that dude can't throw for more than 15 yards.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, tell me that is not enticing. The only thing that you really got to question now is where does this money come from to pay Aaron Rodgers? But I'm thinking maybe you get rid of Elijah Mitchell, this rookie running back. You can probably sell him for a high price, and you keep the beat up Mostert at running back.
Yeah, you could, because I mean, Mostert really outside that year they went to the Super Bowl, hasn't really done much. I mean,
he's a good running back. He's just injury prone.
Well, even when they signed him, he was signed on as a kick returner. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even a running back. Kyle Shanahan had to talk him into being a running back. I mean, I see what you're saying. I like what you're saying.
I mean, he went to school in the Bay Area.
I wish we would have had this conversation a year ago.
Oh, I thought a year ago. I think when Aaron Rodgers was like, "I'm not playing for Green Bay," I thought, "Holy fuck, someone fired Jimmy G like that because Aaron Rodgers is coming to San Francisco."
No, yeah, and I thought so too, and that goes to show last year that the Packers essentially panicked when Rodgers said, "I don't want to play here anymore," because they knew they fucked up by drafting Jordan Love.
Yep,
they should have drafted a weapon for him. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying they should have bent over backwards, but I mean, when you're in the NFL at that level, give your quarterback a little bit more of a say-so.
Oh, for sure.
With roster control, with play calling, whatever. Just give him what he fucking wants.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have been fine, but they did all this, drafting Jordan Love, his successor, whatever. Yep. They try to replicate what they did with him and Favre.
Yeah.
But I think what's different now is that Rodgers is playing at an MVP level for 2 years. Mm-hmm. At that time, Favre was already kind of just, he was a gunslinger. He was already making big mistakes, especially in the postseason.
When is Aaron Rodgers going to take over? No one's asking when Jordan Love's going to take over right now.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. I really hope he doesn't retire because he is fun to watch.
It'd be crazy. Wins back-to-back MVPs, potentially wins the Super Bowl. I'm like,
and then retires, and then just walks off into the sunset. That would have been a cool ending. That'd be super cool. And then he goes off and does other
career
things.
Like that? No one ends their career on top.
I mean,
everyone says end it while you're on top, but no one does.
Everybody kind of just fizzles out. That's where I feel like Tom Brady's eventually going to fizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees last year fizzled out. Big Ben is kind of going out.
Hey, 4 years ago, Big Ben was a stud.
Kind of going out.
Now that dude is. Jesus.
He's kind of going out a little sad.
A bigger Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, pretty much. But we'll see. I mean, he's got a life outside of football. I think he's married to an actress.
And so that's another thing. An actress living in San Francisco, that's a 45-minute plane ride from LA to the Bay Area. I'm saying just don't be surprised when the rumors start to happen in 3 months.
It would be nice to see him in a San Francisco 49er jersey. But I don't see it happening.
I don't see Aaron Rodgers going to a team that needs stability and needs his leadership. I think he wants to go to a team that has that already.
Just needs the weapons.
Just needs him to throw the ball.
And then okay, so put that aside with Aaron Rodgers. Then if he does leave Devontae,
There's only one spot.
I already know you're gonna fucking say it.
He's going to the Raiders.
Damn
He's going to the Raiders, and all I have to say is the Raiders have Derek Carr. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams are really good friends.
Yeah.
In while this whole drama is going on in the offseason with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams says he would love to eventually play with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
He then followed that up by saying, I'm a Packer right now. I'm going to focus on the Packers.
Yeah.
But they still text periodically. He's clowning Derek Carr on TV. Like when Derek Carr takes his helmet off of that Monday night game or Sunday night, whatever it was, against the Ravens and shows all that hair, like Devontae Adams goes on Twitter, like, dude, cut your hair.
Yeah.
I mean, they're boys. They're friends.
No,
And they built this bond at Fresno State. And you just look, I mean, Derek Carr led the nation as a senior in college in yards.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams led the nation in receptions and touchdowns. In 13 games, he had 24 touchdowns.
Damn, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Derek Carr threw for over 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. Devontae Adams, almost 2,000 yards.
Jesus.
In those 13 games. That's insane.
Yeah.
Those two were a dynamic duo that got cut short by a fucking loss to San Jose State.
That's right. That was their only loss that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last week 13, we go into San Jose and we lose. Or 12.
Yeah.
Week 12.
We
won our
like
bowl game.
Yeah.
That I just see it there. And then, I mean, Hunter Renfrow over 1,000 yards this year. Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams on the field at the same time. Okay, Darren Waller almost 700 yards as a tight end. I mean, there's Devontae Adams is going to be able to go to the Raiders and not be the only one, which is nice.
Well, I also think it depends also too on who's their head coach next year. They still don't have an answer at head coach.
That's Kellen Moore to the Raiders.
Kellen Moore.
That would fit right up their alley, in my opinion.
Pete Carroll. I mean, that's
another thing
we were talking about. What if they need a big culture change over in L.A. or in Las Vegas? Yeah.
Well, they do need a culture change. They need someone to fucking grab that team.
You know, they bring in somebody old school like Pete Carroll, who he can still do it. He's not going to retire. He's not going to retire at the end of this year. No. I think he's going to leave the Seahawks though. And I do think he gets a job right away because, I mean, Pete Carroll over all these young offensive coordinators. I mean, I know a lot of people are chasing like the young offensive coordinators. Like everybody wants a McVay and Shanahan.
But you know, I mean, I just saw yesterday Kyle Shanahan has a losing record.
Yeah.
As a head coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and McVay this last year, people are questioning like everything he does. Despite the Rams being good, a lot of people are like, what the fuck is McVay doing?
Yeah. Because even last year they were.
But no one ever questions these old school coaches.
Yeah,
I mean, what the Seahawks have 4 wins this year, and has anyone talked about Pete Carroll being a shitty coach?
No. And then and that's weird because you know Russell Wilson goes down. Well, I mean that's another thing. Like, what if
Russell Wilson lose like
was
6
the guy?
weeks?
Yeah. What if Russell Wilson was the Rock there in Seattle?
Yeah, fucked me in fantasy too.
Right. You know. So, who knows? We got to wrap this up, man. We've been at this for about an hour now. You want to go ahead and just wrap it up with the picks?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's see. Week 18.
Chiefs.
We have Chiefs and Broncos.
Chiefs,
you think
Chiefs,
the Chiefs? What if they sit?
They can't sit. They want that 1 seed.
Oh, they want the 1 seed, huh?
They can't.
That's right. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll take the Chiefs too. Washington Giants.
Who gives
the
a fuck?
Pan Dulce League.
Who gives a fuck? The football team.
The football team?
Yeah.
I'll take the football team too. Steelers and Ravens. Big Ben's last game ever. And the Ravens are still in the hunt.
Ravens are still in the hunt. Steelers are still in the hunt, sorta. Well, they have
depending on what goes on tonight.
Yeah, what's going on right now. I mean, they're 0-0 to backup quarterback. Is Baker even playing tonight?
Don't think so.
I don't know. They're in Baltimore. I'm taking the Ravens.
I'll take the Ravens too. I don't think Big Ben can do anything.
Colts,
Jaguars.
Colts, fucking Jaguars.
Tennessee and the Texans, man.
Tennessee, they've got something to play for.
They want to lock in that.
If everyone's healthy, they're gonna absolutely mop the floor with the Texans.
I think they should lock up the number 1 seed because that week off is going to be a big deal for them.
Cardinals at home.
Cardinals at home against the Seahawks.
I'm taking Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
The way they
too.
looked yesterday, they're looking really good.
It would be nice though to see Russell Wilson cook one last time.
I'd fucking love it. I'd love it. I'd be so happy.
It would be awesome, especially if he takes down the Cardinals. I think that would be cool. I think I'm gonna take the Seahawks on this one, man.
Okay, you're gonna take the Seahawks. I think the Cardinals get the job done at home. They've done really well at home this year. kind of bumpy the last couple of weeks, but the way they played yesterday, I don't see them losing to a depleted Seahawks.
Bucks and Panthers.
I mean, clearly the Bucks, right? But at the same time,
I think the Panthers might sneak up on them, dude.
I think so.
Yeah.
The Bucks still have something to play for. I think it's going to be a very typical Tom Brady game where why is this game so close at the end of the third quarter? And then Tom Brady throws 2 touchdowns and they win by 14.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I agree. Niners Rams. I'm gonna go Niners, man.
Well, shit. You're a Niner fan.
No, but I'm a Niner fan. But either way, dude, I think they might pull it off.
If Jimmy G plays, I think you guys have a chance. And I hate Jimmy G, and I think he's a shitty quarterback. But I think the Rams are gonna.
He always plays up against the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Trey Lance is ready in his third career start to take on the Rams in LA. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
You gonna go with the Rams? Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's go back to the.
Go
back to the top. Yeah. Cowboys Eagles.
Oh come on, Cowboys all
Cowboys.
day. Saturday night.
I'm gonna go with Cowboys too. I don't see the Eagles coming out of that one.
I think the Cowboys have to make a statement,
and then they have to make a statement after last week. Yeah, for sure. Bengals Browns.
Bengals. Joe Burrow. He's gonna light up the Browns. No, he probably won't light up the Browns. He'll probably win by 10.
I'm gonna take the Browns on this one.
You're gonna take the Browns.
I think I'm gonna take the Browns.
Why is that?
They have nothing else to lose. I mean, they're probably gonna go all out. You know, they still have Myles Garrett. They still have Javon Clowney. They still have Denzel Ward. You know, they still have stars on their defense. The only thing is they no quarterback right now. But I think they might be able to pull one off. I think they can win.
Okay.
Packers Lions.
I'm taking Lions. And I'm doing that because I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to play. I don't expect Devontae Adams to play. I don't expect Aaron Jones to play.
I agree.
They already have the 1 seed. It doesn't matter if they win or lose next week. They're gonna most likely sit everyone because why wouldn't you?
Right.
And so, Lions got something to prove.
I'll take the Lions.
They'll beat Jordan Love.
I'll take the Lions. Chicago, Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins gonna get a play?
I'm gonna go. Even if Kirk Cousins doesn't play, I'm still gonna go Minnesota.
Andy Dalton started this last week.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bears.
Okay.
I like the Bears, the red rifle.
Saints, Falcons. That's the big one. What do the Saints do?
You know, the Saints on paper are a pretty damn good team, except they literally have no quarterback.
No quarterback.
They have no quarterback. Mm-mm. I think that despite that, they'll squeak away with a 3-point win over the Falcons.
I can see that happening, but I also see Kyle Pitts going off.
Kyle Pitts, yeah.
And
Matty Ice.
Cordero Patterson.
Matty Ice just fucking throws for 350 yards.
I can see that. Okay. Jets, Bills. I'm going to go Bills. Yeah, the Bills, they need it.
I expect it to be cold. And I expect...
Patriots, Dolphins. The Dolphins always have
one
number.
game. They lost already this year to the Patriots, so that leads me to believe that they'll win this game.
No, they beat the Patriots this year.
I thought
that was when they were 1-7. Their one win was against the Patriots.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, then maybe I'm leaning more towards Patriots. I don't know. I mean, they put up a 50 spot last week.
The Patriots are hot right now. I mean, outside of that one loss.
Let me do this childlike mindset. The Patriots beat the Jags, and the Jags beat the Dolphins. So that leads me to believe the Patriots are going to win.
Okay.
The child logic.
I'm gonna go Patriots too. They need to win. The biggest game I think of Week 18.
Chargers and Raiders. Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
I think the Chargers have a better team, but I think the Raiders win this game because they're in Vegas. Raiders are that team that do have a home field advantage. Raiders fans are crazy. They are a different breed of fans. And
but it's also the fully vaccinated fans. Let's not put that aside.
So all the sane ones are the ones that are vaccinated. The ones that are calmly sitting in their seat the entire game. Those rowdy dudes that wear the shoulder pads and shit. Those guys are the unvaccinated.
There's no more black hole, man. And I'm telling you, dude, those black hole guys, they weren't no Biden buddies, dude.
I still like the Raiders.
I think I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that one.
Yeah, you know what? You're gonna get a couple people to thumbs down
almost
this
made
video.
it. Almost made it. But I'm gonna go Chargers, dude.
You go Chargers?
I think the Chargers.
All right, I'll put a beer on that one.
I think they had a. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that.
I'll put a beer on that one.
I think I'll do the Chargers because of the year they had. I think they deserve it more. It's just the Raiders were they were way too up and down this whole year. Way too up and down.
1 week they're really good. Next week
and
they're
then
really bad.
Yeah, exactly. And I know they went in and beat the Colts, but I mean, it's Carson Wentz, you know, and it's the Colts. I mean, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Jonathan Taylor. He still had 100 yards, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
All right, I can't wait for that beer next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's gonna be a good Sunday night game though, for sure.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an entertaining game. We'll see what happens. Anyways, dude, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this up. It was a long one, dude.
Yeah.
We did like an hour and a half.
Oh shit!
I'm definitely gonna have to cut this down big time.
Oh, for sure.
For you guys at home watching us, thank you guys for watching. If you guys like what we do here, sports podcasts, I know we're pretty NFL heavy today, but we promise next time we'll go ahead. We'll dive deep, a little deeper into like other leagues. We'll go over soccer. We'll go over NBA. Especially once the season is over. But since it's prime time right now in the NFL, we had no other choice. And then that AB story was
begging
too good
to be told.
Too good to pass up. But yeah, if you guys like what we're doing here, you guys go ahead and join us next week. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We'll see you guys all next time. Thanks. Bye.